Agaho guys, I have not posted a TCG video in, what, since like May or something like that, so it's about time we got back into that because stuff came out in this set that has made me quite excited to get back into playing. So in this video we're going to go buy some 5-card packs from the shop, and while we have Aegis / pulled up here on screen, I noticed that his little shield thing there is pretty much exactly the same thing as the QQ Sentai Go-Go 5, aka Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue. It's pretty much the exact same shield that's on their belts, so just notice that. Anyway, we're going to go in the shop here and get some 5-card packs with our token coin things that you get from playing games and whatnot, and that's what we're going to get. We're going to get quite a few of them. I did notice also they put these. Usually they don't do 10-card redeemable packs. I think they did for Legendary Treasures because Legendary Treasures had the weird pull rates in each pack and whatnot, but this is like a 3-pack blister. They used to do these on the old TCGO with the Call for Family, Litwick, and something else, but it was basically it was just a bundle of 3 packs for the same price, plus you got a promo card. Presumably, I like that they're doing this though, because these blister packs like this did not really have a good way to get distributed, like the promo Landorus, Plasma Landorus, that is. So hopefully this is something they'll start doing in the future. This shifter, however, is pretty much utter garbage, and this is, I think, what, an average of 190, yeah, 190 per pack. But I think we're gonna stick to 5-card packs, and we're gonna get 15. We have enough for 15. We do not have enough for 16, so that means we have enough for 15. Gonna get these, and we're going to open them on the things, and hopefully the King card. I want a DNC. Whatever, it doesn't actually matter because you can't even keep the wrappers in this. So we're going to go into collection, go into packs, and we're going to open these. I'm pretty sure you can't trade these, although I'm pretty sure I have somehow or some way seen the 5-card packs, like someone was actually offering one for trade. I'm not sure how that happened. Anyway, last time I did this, the cards took a long time to load, and it looks like they may continue to do this. And these also kind of sort of function as set reviews, except that we don't get to see many of the cards. For some reason, Gengar Spirit Link has decided it wants to load right away. I don't really care for either of the Megas in this set, but the next set is going to be Gardevoir, Mega Gardevoir, and Aggron, and Mega Aggron, and presumably those two will have Spirit Links, which is good, because I plan on using both those cards for reasons. Okay, we have, this is some sort of holographic. These cards don't have reverse foils, so this is an actual holo, and it is a Chandelure. That's pretty good. And we got 2 guys for Night March. Night March is the kind of the new round archetype. It is one of 2 decks from this set that I am excited to play. Night March is very fun, and I'm not sure which version of it I like better, but anyway, there's 3 cards that have Night March, so you play 4 of each of those, so you get 12 total things. You gotta have one of them play to attack with, of course. You can do up to 220 with Night March, and they stay in your discard pile instead of having to be on your bench like it is with Round, so it is a very fun deck. There's Battle Compressor that hopefully we'll get to see. Very fun deck to play. Can hit for big amounts pretty quick. Alright, for some reason slot number 5 wants to load really quickly, so that's pretty alright. We have Crobat here, which does what Crobats do. When you play them down, they damage stuff. And Skill Dive does some damage as well. This is a free attack with the new Dimension Valley. If we can get one of those, that'd be cool. Okay, what is this? I guess this counts as, I guess they're in random orders then. This is uncommon, right? This is uncommon, okay. Yeah, I believe the rates on these are kind of the same as the Japanese packs. You get 3 commons, 1 uncommon, and then an uncommon or better. It works out a little bit better for Japan though, since they don't have at least last time I checked, their non-holo rares, or rather, our non-holo rares, like Mr. Honchkrow right here, are just plain uncommons in the Japanese sets. So, we got Headringer. That's okay. That makes up for stuff right here. Headringer. This is one of the new Team Flare Hyper Gear. There's Team Flare Gear, which is supposedly a distinction that'll matter in the future. It's just a little small text that I guess counts as the thing's name. Maybe. I'm not sure if you'd have to write that on a deck list or not. You probably wouldn't have to. Anyway, so this is the first ever card that attaches to an opponent's side of the field, and they have these garish red borders, so that, you know, okay, you got a red border card on your side of the field, you need to give it back to your opponent whenever it leaves play. And there's going to be so many people walking around at tournaments 59 and 61 card decks because they have an extra head ringer or are missing one. But they purposely tried to make these cards as garish as possible. These red borders are obnoxious. The big flare watermark that is it's just so obnoxious. But anyway, as for what the card actually does, they did exercise some restraint. You can only put it on EXs, and it makes the attacks cost 1 colorless more, so this is probably the better of the two. The other one makes damage reduced by 20, and there's also been some changes to the term defending Pokemon now that are kind of interesting, but I'll touch on that maybe whenever we get a chance to. We also got Zero Sick. That's a pretty good... you know, I always like to get in a trainer in the uncommon slot. But anyway, that's a good pickup. These things are like 1 per box, which is the same rate as A-Specs, except you can have 4 of each of these in your deck, whereas A-Specs are 1 per box. So those things are a little bit crazy. So there we go. We got a 1 per box card out of our 15 packs. Pretty pleased about that. Here's a Heatran. That is a metal type. I don't know why it's weak to fire. That's silly. And an AZ, which is not Mr. Briney's Compassion, sadly. But it does pick up EXs, I suppose. We got a Trick Coin. We finally got this card. It was a Japanese promo, came out a while ago, and it is a Victini as a Pokemon tool. And DC that we already have way too many of. It doesn't stack with Victini though. Alright, we got 2 item cards. This is my baby Versus Seeker. I was so glad when I saw this card was reprinted in Phantom Gate. I love this thing. Just get back whatever supporter from your discard pile you want. It makes one of supporters much better. You know, I'm kind of really sick of, you know, 4 Juniper, 4 N, 4 whatever else. Call it, you know, I don't think you want to run 4 colors. 4 whatever else. You know, this definitely opens up the door. If we can get some good ability-based drawback or something, really should make those situational supporters much better when you can reuse them. And we also have Target Whistle here, which I was mentioning before. We have Team Flare Gear, which supposedly future sets will, you know, it can be stuff like the, Galactic Inventions, where stuff, or Rocket Secret Machine, where they can be searched out by effects. But so far, it's just a little annoying little subtext. And this is a reprint of the old Pokemon Flute. So you, the idea is you get something that they don't want on their bench, and then you Lysander it up and kill it again. Something like that. Just more things to make Jirachi EX cry, and I kind of really hate Jirachi EX, so that's fine by me. This Kingler, this might be the first 4 of 1 color attack they've printed in quite a while. And this Talonflame is pretty bad. So yeah, but they decided to put them in theme decks, so they did that. Is this Liepard any good? It's a Liepard, so probably not. No, it's not. Not any good. At least this Jellicent kind of has an interesting first attack. You could be sillies. Okay, we have Steel Shelter. It's a new stadium. It is Virizion EX. 4 metal types. Jasmine is pleased. And here's a Skarmory that is weak to lightning, so that's a diversifying weakness for lightning types somewhat. We have nothing in this pack that's not even worth looking at. I'm happy about the Hyper Gear though, the head ringer, head noiser, whatever it's called. Gliscor, I guess this is one of the example cards for this. Apparently, new cards that are printed with defending Pokemon means any Pokemon hit by the attack, and apparently also these effects will now persist even on the bench. So supposedly, if you hit something with this submission hold and they retreat, they still can't put energy on that, which is weird because usually effects of attacks clear when you're going to the bench, but apparently this is some way to make the effects of attacks persist, which actually, now that I think about it, makes that Arbok from Flashfire or XY, one of the two. It says defending Pokemon. It was kind of curious, why do they have defending Pokemon still? I thought that was replaced by your opponent's active Pokemon, which is exactly as it says. But apparently this defending Pokemon, the rechristened term, will now affect things going to the bench. I don't know if that's implemented on TCGO or not, but from what I understand, that is the new case. It is not retroactive, so all the pre-XY cards that said defending Pokemon still just mean opponent's active. But that's kind of interesting, you know, that Arbok, it'd probably be nice if I could pull it up on screen right now. I kind of criticized how, well, they retreat and the effect is off, so it's stupid. But apparently now that ruling was actually changed in XY, and nobody noticed, so apparently that will now affect stuff that goes to the bench if the effect was on a defending Pokemon in a card XY and on. Anyway, we have a Hydreigon here, which dark patches to the active, which is kind of useful, and Crazy Headbutt does 10 less damage than the other Hydreigon, but only discards 1 energy. Although you can't Silver Bangle it to kill 170 EXs, so that kind of makes it worse. But maybe we could see a Hydreigon Resurgence. That would be kind of cool. And this is our last 5-card pack. And is this an uncommon? How do you punch while you have leaves? You have leaves, not fists. And also Klefki. Okay, so yeah, so that was okay, I guess. We got a Headringer. I'm not gonna complain. Headringer is a good one to get. I am head. Head. Yeah, right. Because every card has flipping heads. Anyway, so this was about the only good thing we pulled, which again is a 1 per box card. So that's technically, you know, roughly equivalent to a full art. And yeah, this has a lot of good uses. Anyway. We could do a mini set review maybe if the filters want to cooperate. That would be cool. Once again, the trainer kits using Wigglytuff and Bisharp just to show kids that weakness is a big pain in their sides. They also, by the way, added Expanded in this latest update, so now you can actually practice for Day 2 of Regionals. That's kind of nice. Okay, we just see, okay, stuff is actually loading. This is good. Alright, so we have everything in alphabetical order here. Can we see trainers too? Okay, we can turn the filter off. That would be great. If we could turn the thing on for this as well, that would be great. So let's look at the trainers, because trainers, as all the pro players know, the trainers are what's most important in the set, not the Pokemon. We have AZ, which is a kind of super scoop up, except not. You lose the energy and stuff attached to Spirit Links, which lets you, I didn't even say what they did, they let you Mega Evolve without ending your turn, and then you probably want to immediately Tool Stripper them off so you can actually use a different tool. Once again, we have Headringer, we have Steel Shelter, Target Whistle, touched on that. Trick Coin, I could have sworn there were more. Oh, we gotta show Not Owned as well. Okay, that fixes things. Okay, so here's full art. I'm kind of sad that this is not out of frame because AZ is freakishly tall. We have Battle Compressor, which is the thing that actually lets Night March be playable. You just get to, it's kind of like Foolish Burial, I guess, from Yu-Gi-Oh! You get to search for up to 3. The up to is actually very relevant there, as things like computer search, you cannot fail search a computer search because you can search for any card, and the amount of cards in your deck is public knowledge. You'd still have to take 1 card with this, but for example, if you're playing Night March and you're playing your 3rd Battle Compressor and you only have 1 or 2 Night March Pokemon you want to put in the discard pile, you can just put those. You don't have to put a 3rd card in there with the effect of this. So that up to is actually relevant, where for Fan Club it says up to, or it just says 2 basic Pokemon and put them in your hand, you can fail search the second one. So the up to would be, not necessarily helpful. Right there doesn't change the effect any. Here's Dimension Valley. The psychic types, they pay 1 colorless less, not 1 colored energy less, but 1 colorless less. But Mew EX does still appreciate this. It does work that way. It's kind of the same way as the Politoed ruling. So basically, anytime a psychic Pokemon attacks, you would reduce the attack cost by colorless less, even if it's not an attack printed on the card, if it got it somewhere else. Enhanced Timber got reprinted, which I guess is okay, because Strong Energy is stupid. There's the Gengar Spirit Link. We also got this Japanese promo, Hand Scope. Get to look at their hand. Here's the other thing, the jamming net that PokeBeach had the hilarious edited scan for. Do these have reverse foils? I don't think these actually appear in reverse foil in the set. They're always holographic. But apparently, according to TCGO, there is a mythological reverse holo jamming net. I may be wrong, and that may actually exist. Here we have Lysander's trump card, which is one of the most controversial cards of the set. You just shove your discard pile back into your deck. for both players, except for this card and presumably other copies of it, as it says Lysander's trump card as opposed to except for this card. But Versus Seeker exists, so yeah, play one of these and you'll probably never deck out ever. So if Durant had any chance of getting back in play in the expanded format, this officially said no. People don't like this because it kind of lets you just play willy-nilly. You don't have to worry about resources. You know, burn through all your resources, then throw them all back in the deck. It's kind of a thing. But then again, you also use your support over the turn A. You don't get to, you know, draw those resources immediately that turn. And you also throw your opponent's resources back in their deck, and then they can actually use a supporter and get at those resources before you do. So, kind of a double-edged sword, but whatever. There's Manectric Spirit Link. Manectric EX is kind of cool, but I guess we'll look at him later. We got reprints. We got Clefairy plus 20, which is pretty cool. I like. We can finally use Substitute in the TCG. I like it. Roller Skates reprint. Shauna reprint. Steel Shelter already touched on. Tierno reprint. Trick Coin. Versus Seeker. I love you so much. Zero Sick, who also got a thing, and he's in. He kind of has like the jumpsuit, and every time I think of Zero Sick now, I read it as Zero Sick Samus, and that's a very disturbing thought. Zero Sick Samus. Yeah. We have one energy in this, which is not even worth looking at. Mystery Energy is terrible. Don't play it. In all seriousness, though, it reduces the retreat cost. It can only be put on psychic types, and it drops their retreat by 2, to which... Okay. Alright, so the reason we had Aegislash at the opening of the video was because we have Aegislash EX, who has an awesome ability. This is Scizor. This is basically Scizor Prime from the HS block on a basic with more HP, and it's an EX. I think it's actually literally the same exact card. The all damage versus all effects, including damage, that may be slightly different, and I think the retreat cost is different. But anyway, this is a great card, and the main reason it's a great card, we're going to skip over these cards that are not very good and go to Bronzong. And Bronzong is the #1 card that has made me excited to play the game again, and we're going to start posting videos as soon as I get the stuff for Bronzong. Now, the main thing we like about Bronzong is, first off, it's kind of like electric, and the main thing we like about Bronzong it is metal type, and you guys know on this channel why we like steel, we like metal, 4 reasons, and I am very excited to be playing some Bronzongs in the future. We did not pull any, which is unfortunate, so I'm going to have to trade for a set of 4, but I guess that's alright. Thankfully, the Bronzor is not terrible. It has a 1 retreat and livable HP as opposed to the 30 or 40 that Dynamo had to endure. Although I will say that 3 retreat cost kinda hurts. You could kinda pay Electrics 2. Bronzong's 3 is kind of a nope. We have Chandelure. I don't know how good this thing's gonna be. Garbodor cuts off the ability, but other than that, the fainting spell Gengar was pretty annoying, and this is fainting spell that can, instead of trade 1 for 1, it can trade 1 for 2 if you fainting spell an EX. And if they want to just, you know, put up something and not attack you, you can be smacking their bench. So I don't know. It's pretty cool. I like it. I might try to make something with it. I have Crobat. I think I touched on him earlier. We have DDNA. That one's not very good. We have the... Oh, what is this? TCGO, what have you done? That's not... This thing is supposed to be like, kind of like the gold Reshiram and Zekrom. I'll say it looks better than the Reshiram and Zekrom on TCGO. But this is line art. This is not, this is supposed to be like, whereas those were gold, this was supposed to be silver, a full metal hollow, as it were. This is just line art, TCGO. Like, I want to take this, I want to take this and, like, paint by numbers all over it or something. Anyway, as for the actual card, Alga EX could be a big player in Bronzong decks. With the second attack, of course, get some nice synergy going on. But you kind of need either Muscle Band or Laser Bank to be doing stuff with it. So I don't know how I feel about it. It could be really good. I don't currently have it in my Bronzong decks, but we have lots of games to be played, and I'm sure I'll try out a Dialga version at some point. It can't be that bad, right? It can't be that bad. And also, this defending Pokemon nonsense Apparently, this effect will stick on the bench. Of course, they can just retreat to a new Pokemon to get around it. But it avoids things like retreat and then switch or whatnot to get around it, or rush and retreat to get around it. So that's kind of okay. This Diancie is the best card I got at pre-release, and excluding the pre-release Bronzong, and it made me very sad. Diggersby, bad cards. Mediocre cards. Hi for Alligator, you're terrible, right? Aren't you terrible? Yeah, you're pretty terrible. Bad cards. We have, Florges still freaks me out, man. Like, when I first saw Florges on Cerebi, I thought it kind of looked like, just imagine the pupil isn't there, and it just kind of had, like, green eyes, and it was like, oh, cool, it's got, like, bug eyes, it looks sweet. And then I looked at it up close, and I was like, this is, I don't like this. Why do you have a 2 retreat anyway? You're a floating mini fairy attached to a... Why do you have a 2 retreat? As it is, I guess it's an okay opener. You get supporter cards. Why do you have 160? Whatever. Probably the worst EX in the set, unless I'm forgetting one. We have another print of this Furfrou. At least it's blue. We have Galvantula, who is... We have Gengar EX. This makes our friend Malice happy that we have Gengar. Gengar looks very fat right there. This is another thing that hits and runs, so kind of like the Donphan deck. It does 60, it does poison, it might be alright, and it can kind of snipe as well. You can't, unlike the Chandelure, you can't pick and choose what gets what damage. You can put these in any way you like, whereas the Gengar is just drop 3, but at least it does get around Mr. Mime, so that's... And, the Mountain Ring? Yeah, Mountain Ring. Hey, it's a Gigalith with an ability! It's worse than Shuckle, pretty much. Well, here's that Gliscor we looked at. The Golbat, whoops, that's a Goodra. The Golbat actually gives you reason to play the Stage 1, which is, kind of something that's cool to see. It drops 2 damage counters when you evolve, and this is probably the best Golbat to play. Also has free retreat. Rather nice. This Goodra should have came out 2 sets ago with, or wait, we just got the other, no, I was pretty sure it was Flash Dryer. We got the other Goodra. They should have just thrown this, because this Goodra was already out in Japan. I don't see why they didn't just combine them into one set. But anyway, this Goodra is kind of the counter to Garbodor, as once you get rid of their tool on Garbodor, Slip Trip makes it so you can't attach tools to your own Pokemon, so you can't reactivate Garbotoxin. So, cool. That pretty much means Garbodor is going to be offline for the rest of the game, unless they do silly things with the Wobbuffet that we'll look at the end of this line. Worth noting, though, that this only prevents people from attaching tools to their own Pokemon, so you can still attach Flare tools to your opponent's Pokemon. It's rather annoying, but this card was made well before the Flare tools were, so oh well. Gourgeist is one of the potential attackers for Night March. Has a very fun ability. Put Grass Energy on him because he's Ghost Grass. Get it? Get it? And he gets doubled HP up to 200, which is pretty funny to see, although he still is going to get annihilated in one hit by Yveltal because he is weak to dark. This Heatran is kind of just disappointing. It's just disappointing. I was disappointed in it. Although we haven't seen too many metal Heatrans, so that's kind of alright. This Heliolisk is a rare holo, which is awful. We have Honchkrow, which kind of works with the Malamar EX. It can do 120, but I can think of better ways to do a 120. Hydreigon we already looked at. Here's more. Night March, Joltix. Hi, Karrablast. More cards. Here's the other Night Marcher that we did not see. This is the only one that's uncommon. This is also the only evolved one, so you could maybe use this as a Pyroar counter. And why are these not alphabetical? I think they are. It's just... there you are. Litwick is not very good. But you could potentially run Litwicks in Night March and evolve into Lampent, or you could use Gourgeist instead. And so it'll be EX. Once again, Leavanny continues its wonderful trend of having an attack that would be maybe okay on a basic Pokemon, and it's a Stage 2. Thanks, Leavanny. Interestingly enough, I wonder if you get Flare tools with that. You could this actually lets you attach Flare tools to your own Pokemon. That would be kind of cool. It would be dumb, but it would be kind of cool. Probably though you cannot. This Loud Red I'm going to notice because it has the same attack as Deoxys EX with the Helix Force, except it does not require plasma energy. So go Loudred. Cool. We have Megas. Mega Gengar is super duper duper ultra metronome. You just get to pick one of your opponent's attacks and use it as that attack, which is pretty alright. Mega Manectric is pretty okay. Again, these two both have Spirit Links, so you won't necessarily lose a turn by evolving into them, which is nice. Does 110, which conveniently kills Pyroar, has free retreat, and gets 2 basic energies back. Could be playable. Could be something nice to kill Yveltal. Continuing with the EXs, we have Malamar EX. Throw energies on him, and they go to sleep, and have a 50% chance of staying asleep, obviously. So it can be pretty annoying. And then he has Vaniluxes with the Chill Max attack, 60 times energy, coin flips. I always like these kind of attacks. I always like the Jungle Executor. So I'm pleased to see them continuing, and apparently they all now have the max is kind of the way they indicate them. Here's Manectric EX though, which might be pretty good. So you got a mini Hammerhead here, 2020 for 1 colorless, which is pretty alright. And also works really well with the Flare tools, as you can give them a tool, and probably the best way to stop the Flare tools from being played on you is to play a tool yourself. Either way, Manectric's going to do 120 to you for 1 lightning, 1 colorless, and only has 1 retreat, of course, so might be pretty alright. Mightyena, Dream of Memories gets a shout out for being a cool attack name and a decent effect as well. Speaking of decent effects, we have Pachirisu, which changes the opponent's weakness to electric, which another thing that is affected by the defending Pokemon. I guess it's not really errata, it's a term change. So now you can change something's weakness to electric, and even if they retreat it, you can Lysander it back out and still hit it for electric weakness. I really want to see if that's actually implemented on TCGO or not. Feel like it's not. We have a new Pyroar, which that is some ugly artwork, but you can discard a fire energy attached and get a catcher effect, which could be alright. I feel like in a Pyroar deck you could play this, but you might just rather, if you're playing Pyroar, stick with the Pyroar line. But I guess if you were playing a Pyroar and other attackers, you could use this as in some matchup where Pyroar is not actually helpful, and you could use this Pyroar to just get Lysanders, which would be nice. The main reason I said that Heatran was really bad is we saw, Steel Drop. It does, you can do 80 damage, okay, and you gotta have a Stadium in play. Got 130 HP, basic, okay, and then we saw Regigigas, who just straight does the 80 damage, also has the 130 HP, doesn't require the metal, and blocks damage done to him by 40, and can also smack stuff for 100 with no discard. I think the Heatran does 130, but whatever. Unfortunately though, weak to fighting, so nom for Landorus, bad stuff. Skarmory gets credit for being weak to lightning. I wish Skarmory EX was weak to lightning. That might actually make it playable. We have a new Slurpuff. Whenever Virizion rotates, fairies can actually use Slurpuff, as they're supposedly intended to. And I don't know, I could see this thing maybe being useful with Fairy Garden especially. You can promote this after a knockout. You can use the Tasting to draw 2 cards, and otherwise you can just draw an extra card every turn. Could be decent, I suppose. But again, probably not until Virizion rotates. We have the Spiritomb, which gets credit for having an awesome attack name, actually. And once again, another card that uses that defending Pokemon term change. So, yeah, they're not evolving whatever gets hit by this attack. So, there you go. We have Terry. I'm sorry, but sorry, Terry, you're not very good. But you're still Terry. We still love you. Venomoth has a very, very fun first attack. Whenever they play a trainer card, so item, supporter, or stadium, they flip a coin, and if tails, nope, put it away. Put it in your discard pile. You don't get to play it. Too bad. So it's kind of obnoxious. Very reminiscent of the Neogenesis Slowking, which actually put it on top, which of course was a continuous effect that put it on top of your opponent's deck, so they kept redrawing it as opposed to drawing something useful. And yeah. Gets rid of the resource though, so that's pretty alright. But again, Lysander's trump card. And here is Wobbuffet. This is the way that Garbodor could theoretically reactivate himself under a Goodra tool lock. So this is basically it is the same thing as Garbodor as long as he's active. except he doesn't turn off psychic abilities, which of course includes Garbotoxin. So I don't know how good this would be. Certainly the hit and run decks might abuse this. Conveniently, I guess that mystery energy would reduce that retreat cost to 2 or to 0. But then again, why would you not just run Floatstone or Russian Retreat or whatever you like to run with your Donphan deck? But anyway, it gives Donphan and other hit and run decks a chance to just cut off abilities with a thing as opposed to item cards or something else. Shan Mega has a interesting effect for its second attack, otherwise not very good, and I think that pretty much wraps up for the set. But the most important thing, of course, is our fair ladies' metal types. They actually just got a theme deck in the Japanese release of the set, so I probably would have just bought that theme deck instead of actually buying packs from the set. But anyway, so Bronzong is what we're going to be trying to get some of, and hopefully we will have... Surprisingly, the internet connection has actually lasted this long. I'm kind of impressed. It's one of the main reasons I haven't been posting much. But how long has this recording been going on? Probably too long. 30 minutes? Oh, that's not too bad. 30 minutes is pretty alright. And more Super Sentai. And that's going to be it for this. So we got a head ringer, and then we talked about set. So hope you guys enjoyed. Maybe you did. Maybe you just enjoy listening to me talk. And we're going to have some more TCG stuff as soon as I can get stuff for Metal Deck and or Night March. See you guys then. Later days.